I need to tell you about this really confident person I met the other day. What was their name? Oh, it was McVack. Yes, it was McVack. This person was just incredible. I'm not joking. They walk into any social setting and they just flourish. And if they're on a stage, they walk up there with this like confident look on their face. And I mean, I talked to them before the speech and they're like, oh man, I don't even have time to prepare this speech. And I'm just going to wing it. Like, I don't need to prepare for it. And I'm just sitting there horrified. Like, how could you do a speech without preparation? This is crazy. And they go up and they deliver this perfect speech, and it's just amazing. Like, how did they do this? How is this possible? You found yourself in the same situation? You ever wondered, how do some people manage to pull this off, and why are some of us stuck? The shivers and the fears and the sweaty hands and the uncontrollable heart rate and the constricted breathing, stress. Where does all that come from? Funny story. Did you know that stress and excitement manifest in the exact same way in the body? Think about it. Being excited and being in a state of paralyzing fear actually manifests in the same way. Does that mean you're truly scared when you're about to give a speech? Or are you just excited? That by itself is a powerful thought, but that's not enough. How did McVack do it? Well, I made McVack up. McVack is not a real person. Sorry to burst the bubble. But that doesn't mean McVack does not teach us a valuable lesson. McVack stands for an acronym that I devised that tells us more or less a process how to deliver a confident speech every single time. But you're intrigued by this idea? So let's launch in. Let's see if I can pass on this knowledge to you in an effective way so that we can get you up to speed on how to give the best possible speeches every single time, like McVack. You know what I mean? Okay, let's go for it. McVack starts with the acronym. First word, mannerisms. Now, I'm sure you've heard other famous speakers speak on the topic. I mean, mannerisms. They're those like annoying things that we do while we're talking. What was I going to say next? And I mean, we try, what else is it? Oh, we try our best to really come up with like good ideas, but yeah, it's just all gone. All the spark and the light's just gone. I mean, it takes a lot to be a confident speaker, but there are subtle things that we do in our everyday lives when we present that can be irritating to other people. And, I mean, it really just depends on what you're doing, and I have no idea why I have a screwdriver. Yeah, but you get the idea. Back on topic. So very important. Cut out any mannerisms, but you need to reflect on this. The easiest one is what I'm going to call the thinking pauses, the thinking words. Every single time we say or ah or or ah, whatever the noises are we produce, those are moments when your brain pauses. It's when we're thinking, but here's the catch. You do not need to make a sound. Now, this one's incredibly powerful. Just that realization alone will put you into the mindset where you are going to become a more confident speaker. So think about this. Next time you are speaking in front of an audience, or maybe it's in a meeting at work, or maybe it's in a meeting in a social setting, whatever the situation might be, practice this. Keep track of the ums and ahs. And I guarantee you, once you realize this powerful realization, once you realize this, you're actually going to get slightly annoyed by all the people around you using ums and ahs in all their sentences. So sorry about that. I can't avoid it, but maybe we can fix the word one mannerism at a time. You attempted. Now the next one, another little trick there. If you had to make a mannerism, you just go quiet instead. Do you know pausing is a very strategic technique used in speech to help convey a sense of confidence? Something that I feel like McVack would have in abundance. Is that the second letter? C, confidence? It is indeed. Now take note, if you're managing to curb your mannerisms, it actually feeds into your confidence. Notice the link between those. You become confident in your speech when you stop making errors and when you're not self-conscious about all the things you're doing wrong. Getting rid of mannerisms, I'm telling you, it's a secret to becoming a more effective speaker. Guaranteed, test it out. Let me know in the comments if it worked for you. But how do we actually build our confidence as a speaker? I mean, it's not easy. If you had to walk up on a stage right now and deliver a speech on a complicated topic that you've never in your life heard anything about, would you be able to do it? Probably not. And there's a good reason, and this kind of leads into why we need to build confidence. You need to become an expert on the subject matter. You must be an expert on subject matter. If you are not an expert in the subject matter, your speech is going to fall apart, guaranteed, and the flaws will begin to surface. Once you begin to make little stutters or errors, or even if you make an error, that is when your confidence gets curbed. Now, we've all had this. Is there a way to recover from maybe a big blooper in your speech? Maybe you're reading something out and you accidentally say the wrong word. You begin to blush as you realize, wait, that's not what that was supposed to say. I'm not reading my script correctly. That's a horrible thought. But here's the funny part. Here's the magic in this moment. No one else will potentially realize your mistake, especially if you just make a simple error, like using the wrong word or saying things out of order. No one in the audience would have noticed. The magic there is, it's only a problem if you admit or confess to making that mistake. So what's the secret? Just don't tell everyone you made a mistake. Carry on, retain that confidence. Unless you have a real horrible blunder, it's okay, we learn from those as well. But generally speaking, you can recover from any single error. And sometimes humor is the way to go as well. You could say, oh, sorry, I scripted that into the speech. I thought you guys would laugh a bit more, but no one laughed. So that's kind of awkward, but it's on me. I should have chosen a better joke. Easy. You can recover from anything, just about. Okay, the next one. With our added confidence and our ability to sequester those mannerisms, what do we need to work on next? Actually, confidence kind of flows into your vocal expression. When we have good subject matter understanding and we have that element of confidence and we're not stuttering the whole time and ums and ahs, we can begin to practice our vocal expression. We can change where we place emphasis. We can change the highs and the lows. We can change the pauses. But don't leave the pauses too long, it gets awkward. So you got to fill the silence fairly quickly. I'd say up to 2 seconds is okay. If you go more than 2 seconds and if the pause isn't used strategically, it's kind of awkward. Best to pause after a question. Yes, rhetorical questions are a great technique. You're allowed to use them by all means. But definitely think about where you're going to introduce your pauses. Leave them when you think your audience needs to take a moment to digest the information you've said. It is so powerful taking that pause, and it conveys an immense amount of confidence. So good luck on it when you get a chance to be unleashed practicing the Macvac technique. Now, after vocal expression, what's next in our list? Well, we have an A. There's only one A that you need, and it's attention. You need the audience's attention. All eyes on you. But here's the catch. Think back to what maybe your school teacher would have told you, or your vocal mentor, or someone else. Potentially, no offense to anyone who teaches this, of course, we'll keep this nice and professional. Surely someone at some point has told you, just pretend they're all in their underwear, or stare at the back of the wall and don't make eye contact with anyone, especially not anyone you know. It'll be really awkward and you'll get embarrassed and you'll make mistakes. But isn't that the whole point of a speech? To engage with the audience, to make eye contact with them? Okay, but how long is too long? And how long should you hold eye contact? That one's mysterious. If you hold eye contact for too long on a single person, what's going to happen? Well, they're either going to become self-conscious or a whole flurry of thoughts are going to take shape. So keep it short. I'd say 1 second, a quick look is good. If you're having a conversation, definitely you can do it slightly longer. But generally speaking, you want to engage. You want to lock onto people and show them that you're here, that you see them, and that you notice they're on their phone playing Tetris when they should be focused. Is that you? I can see that. You should put that away right now. Refocus. Very important. You get the idea. Very, very important. Now, one way that you can really help gain the attention of your audience, because remember, it needs to be earned. If you're not interesting, if you're not engaging your audience, I can't blame them for pulling out their stuff, and you probably do the same thing if it's really boring. We've probably all had this. I mean, it's really bad. We shouldn't do it. Should be respectful to our speakers, but nonetheless, if it is boring and not engaging, this is 2024, we can't help ourselves. Now, one way to really hook your audience is ultimate terms. Now, you may or may not have heard of this technique before. The concept was suggested by Richard Weaver, intellectual historian and philosopher who coined this phrase. And it's all about rhetoric and persuasion, being able to grab your audience's attention, hold it, and persuade them on something of relevance to them. So what are some examples of these ultimate terms? Well, Richard broke it down into essentially 3 categories. The God terms, the devil terms, and the charismatic terms. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks to see where those are going, but to put it very simply, generally, these are words that have a very clear meaning in society. They have a very powerful definition, and they often rally people towards some sort of cause. Some examples, things like religion, love, hate, power, freedom, safety, guarantee, money, believe. Now, what do all of these words have in common? All of them, when we hear them, convey a very concise message that is powerful and resonates with all of us. Things like freedom. Do you like freedom? Do you want freedom? What does freedom mean? Well, everyone understands the idea of freedom, and that is why these terms are so powerful. But we have to use them in moderation, and we have to use them with a desired end point. But reflect on them. Look through your speech and see if there are any key phrases that you could incorporate into your speech to try and make it more effective, more persuasive, and to really resonate with people. Makes perfect sense. Now, it's all good and well to gain the attention of an audience, but that by itself is often not enough. I mean, you could do something as simple as dropping your glass of water and you'll gain their attention. But that's not really what we want. We don't just want their attention. We want to do more. So what's the last letter in our acronym? C for captivate. You need to captivate your audience. Once you gain their attention, find a way to hold their attention. So what's the most effective way to do this? Well, I'm sure if you dig back in your memory banks, you're going to come up with a very simple 4-letter word called hook. You want to hook? No, not that hook, the other hook. You want to find a technique that's going to grab their attention. And there are many ways of doing this. Now, a lot of great speech deliverers will usually start their performance with something like a trick, or maybe they'll use a prompt. Those are great methods. It needs to be something relatable that everyone understands, ties in with the main story, and it links everything together. And whatever you choose, it needs to somehow be sort of relevant. Screwdriver? What's a screwdriver got to do with anything? Great question. Screwdrivers are quite useful tools, aren't they? They help us to complete one task really well. And I mean, we get different bits, so sometimes we have to sort of change out some of the bits, and more often than not, the screwdrivers have the ability to sort of adjust. You can fit like a whole new component in there, but the end result is always the same. They're designed for a purpose. What's the purpose of McVac? Why are we giving speeches? Why are we trying to persuade people? What is our end purpose for our speech? Well, very simply put, McVac is designed to help you sort out those mannerisms. It's to help you find a way to build your confidence with your speech. Once you've done so, you can begin to work on your vocal expression and try and express your points in a more clear manner, which is going to help with attaining the attention of your audience, because someone who doesn't make lots of stutters and ums and ahs the whole time is a much more pleasurable person to listen to. They sound like they know what they're doing. They sound confident. Funny how that works. Once you have their attention, you must captivate them, and that requires planning. You need to think about things that will engage the audience, that will prove a point, carry a message. And I guess if we have to pick out 4 effective hooks, some of them I'm sure you know already, one of which would be something really simple like a rhetorical question. Ask them a question somewhere at the start of your speech. Give them the pause, give them the time to do a little bit of thinking. Another key one that comes up a lot, statistics. Yes, statistics are boring, but giving them that statistic at the start of the speech helps to build your credibility as a speaker, and also shows that you mean business. This isn't fun and games. You're here to show them and share your knowledge. You're here to share your knowledge. Very, very important. Now, another common technique is to throw them into the action. More often than not, people have had many speakers come up, especially if you're at something like a symposium or some sort of large conference, and well, let's be honest, those speeches aren't very entertaining. Everyone talking about their data for their scientific discoveries, they don't really make the effort to make it interesting. So therein lies your opportunity. Take the effort, find a couple of hooks to make it more interesting. Your audience will thank you for it. You'll gain their attention and you will absolutely captivate them. Hopefully you enjoyed McVac. Hopefully by the end of applying this process in your own speech, you will become McVac. That is, a confident speaker that has no limits, who can present any speech at any time, doesn't matter the topic. They just know everything, because even if you make mistakes, you easily recover. Good luck with that technique. Let me know how it goes in the comments. If you have any questions, requests for future videos, leave those in the comments as well. Good luck with McVac, and good luck with becoming a confident speaker. Let me know how it goes. I'm sure you'll do well.